Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Thrive Like a Parent podcast. Today, I have a guest who I'm so excited to get to know. Usually, when I do podcasts, we don't have much conversation before I hit record because I like to have the conversation be as authentic as possible. And today, I am so incredibly excited to have Connie Zak on, who is the CEO and co-founder of Sunlighten saunas. And I can't thank you enough for being here. And I think this is going to be so informative to our listeners because, as they all know, and I've spoken about it a lot, I now have a sauna from you all. And it's been a huge part of my healing journey for my Hashimotos. And I'm sure we'll go into it a little bit more in detail of like what I've seen and the benefits for me. But I feel so grateful and honored and blessed that I have one in the convenience of my home. And I'm so excited to get to sit down with you today and get to know you better, and for everyone to get to know you as an individual, but also, of course, the science and the data and all the exciting things behind saunas. So, Connie, thank you so much for being on today.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me here. I'm thrilled.
Yeah, absolutely. What I like to do is kind of first deep dive into the person and ask, who were you before Sunlighten? I would love to know a little bit about you, and I would love for you to share with our audience who you are and kind of the story of where you were before Sunlighten came to be.
So before Sunlighten is also before kids. So I know this is why I like parents. So it's an important connection because I feel things change. Obviously when you have kids and you have a business. So before Sunlighten, I was working at Procter and Gamble in the pharmaceutical division, and I was very dedicated, to my career.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though that when you ask me that question, the first thing I think of is, I was extremely spontaneous and very. I don't know if the word is laid back because that's probably not the right word, but just very willing, very adaptable, and very, very easy to, flex and move and, ebb and flow with
Mm-hmm.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever we would go on a business trip, I would just be like, oh, well, we're in Phoenix, so we should go and take in all of this. And, we're in New York, so we should go see every show known to mankind that has ever been made, and we
Mm-hmm.
should get the best seats. So that was kind of, it's just, I am an experience junkie. I love to have just really fantastic experiences with people that I love to be with. Um, so that's really kind of a little bit a snippet into who I was as a person
Mm-hmm.
before we started Sunlighten, and then about 25 years ago, which is so hard to believe.
Wow.
I just don't feel like it's been 25. I just can't. It's really hard for
It
me to
goes fast.
digest that
I
statement.
know.
It does. It goes really, really fast. And I would have never, if you would have told me you'll, be doing this and our business would be the way it is and we would be a global leader in, light science. Wow,
Yeah.
really blows my mind when I think about it in that context. So anyway, back to 25 years ago, over 25 years ago, my brother was really, really sick. He was in a very dark place. Because of heavy metals that were trapped inside his body. It was his dentist who helped diagnose the situation and finally said, Jason, I think that the mercury from your amalgam fillings is leaking into your body. And I think that's why you are so terribly sick and you have this horrible chronic fatigue, vertigo, and can't do anything. I mean, literally couldn't get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was horrible. And he was so young, and it just to watch somebody love go
Mm-hmm.
through something like that, it was horrible. And anyway, he was the dentist was the
Yeah.
one all these years ago that said, I've heard of this technology called infrared, and I believe it can help you detoxify and help get that mercury out of your body in a very safe, natural way. And there was really there weren't very many choices at the time, of course. And so my brother bought an infrared sauna. I watched him save his life and transform his life. And I also watched how long it took. And I thought, God, there has to be a more efficient way to do this, because it just seemed like it took, I was so happy because I could see him making progress, but so that was the genesis of Sunlighten. So, I left my really great job. I loved P&G. I loved everything about what I learned there. It was a great training ground. The people were amazing. And then I jumped off a cliff with my co-founder, husband, Aaron Zak, and we started the company and put it in our basement, and just clawed day by day to figure out how to bring this incredible technology to life and bring it forth, and just continue to study it. And the science, I just studied extensively. The positive is my head was already in that science space from pharmaceuticals, and I was so used to being in legal sessions talking about pharmaceuticals with our lawyers, going through the sales materials and just making sure we weren't promising anything that we couldn't deliver with a claim. And I was so used to the stat sig number. I was so used to that language and studies. So when my brother, shared, and I saw him go through the story, I started doing research in all of the journals that I had been used to reading because of what I was doing at P&G. I was in the cardiovascular and gastrointestinal division over there. And I found this overwhelming amount of data on infrared with the heart, on helping the heart be a healthier organ because of because of receiving the infrared energy into the body. When I say like the results, it was astounding as compared to what we were trying to do, with pharmaceuticals, with products, because when you take a product, it may benefit something, but it typically changes. It always makes changes in your bodies to other parts of your body. And so that's why you hear those, whispering side effects on all the commercials. This may cause bloating, flatulence, the inability to move or stretch. And that's a real world situation. And for my brother to go through something, and for me to see all this data of, helping to decrease blood pressure, helping to increase blood flow, helping to increase circulation, helping to reduce your triglycerides, like all these different benefits without, adversely affecting the body. The only thing that my brother saw was he was thirstier, which is a good thing, right? Mm-hmm. So, I left my job and, thankfully plan A, because there was no plan B.
Right. So, I've been there before.
Thankfully plan A worked, but, I would be totally, misrepresenting myself if I said it was easy or, if it was seamless. Hell no, it's been just a ton of hard work, diligence, perseverance, dedication, commitment, blood, sweat, tears, all of that.
Absolutely. For you all to have started this in your basement, and I'm assuming it's not in your basement anymore, right?
We maybe just a little bit bigger than that. Yeah. No, it's what. So basement moved to first location in Kansas City. We were in Cincinnati, and we went to a location in Kansas City in 2004, and then we bought the building that we're in right now in 2006, which is like 10 times as big as the first building. And then we also now are moving at the end of this year to another building. So it's a little bit different than, a small little adorable little house. The basement is only 300 square feet, one bathroom, it's tiny.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit different.
That's pretty incredible. It's a wonderful story. And I love that you said you would not be representing yourself well if you didn't explain, like, it has taken blood, sweat, and tears and lots of dedication and lots of energy and lots of effort to get here. But the product that you're offering is, it leads the way of all saunas, and I can only attest that to all the hard work that you all have put into this, as well as all the hours and years, right, that you have kind of implemented just different shifts and changes along the way. I know you're a parent. I would love to hear how, just personally, how it's been to build this as a parent.
Oh man, there are so many stories in that. Like, so first, let me just say that um, one of when I was preparing for this and I was reading about you. So and I love what you do. I mean,
Thank you.
I love the community you're building. I love the topics you bring to life. I love your mission.
Thank you.
And part, well, our mission actually and our purpose is what I'm so passionate about is to provide a product that helps people do more, do more, feel better, and live fully. And my Connie Zak tweak is I really want people to do all of that with people that they love to do it with.
Mm-hmm.
And the people I love to do everything with is, my family, is my husband
Mm-hmm.
and my two boys,
Mm-hmm.
who are 16 and 14. And so, when we moved to this building that I'm in today, so three different places that we lived or worked before Hudson was born. I mean, we were building a building and I didn't know what I was going to do with childcare. And, so we ended up building a childcare facility within our building so that we could have our child with us at work. And so it was those kinds of decisions. And, one of my greatest experience and my greatest personal development with having a business and being a parent is really understanding the integration of work and being a mom and how you need to like blend them together.
Mm-hmm.
And I know this is what question I wanted to ask you because I heard you say on a podcast that you said something to the effect of I don't love the word balance, and I say the same thing. So I was like, okay, take a note of that. I want to hear your why you don't. And people always ask me because they always say, "Oh, Connie, let's just like come so easy to you, and you have such great work-life balance, and you'll always be able to take care of your kids." Like, well, so it's not easy,
Mm-hmm.
like that's just because I make a choice of, I find when I'm with my kids, I'm present, accounted for here, helping them thrive. And then, when I'm at work, I am present and accounted for. And so it's the same thing. I'm the same person. It's not like you make choices of, well, you can only have work or life and you can only be a mom or like, to me, it's an integration and and I'm a better parent, when I am, just thriving myself and I fill my bucket. And
Mm-hmm.
I fill my bucket a lot of times by bringing new things to market, by taking care of customers, by sharing a story with somebody that's going to make them feel better. And then I just heard it. I was in the lunchroom here at Sunlighten right before this, and our customer care manager came up and it just makes me want to cry. She was sharing the story about how somebody flew from Washington, D.C. First place she landed was here at Sunlighten because she was trying to fix her sauna, she's had the sauna she's had for 15 years. And it's the favorite
Wow.
thing she has in her house. And there was something that she needed fixed, and she wanted to fix it so that she could donate it to the veterans community so that they could have one. And then she was going to, well, she not was going to, then she bought a new one for herself. And it just warmed my heart. I thought, thank you so much, Carmen, for sharing that story. And my bucket gets filled. And then when I go, see Aiden, from school today, I'm like, oh, Aiden, I can't wait to share this story. So to me, it's this integration. Our kids know everything about Sunlighten. They know who our associates are. They know the troubles and tribulations. They know the good, bad, and ugly. And we share it. And whenever we share it, we try and give a lesson with it,
Mm-hmm.
of like Zacks don't quit. That's one thing. It's like, we're not going to quit. We're not going to quit. We're going to persevere. We're going to move on. And, the goal is that some of that wisdom and experience that we've had at Sunlighten, will transcend to them. We don't force it by
Yeah.
any means, to
Mm-hmm.
them. But they, absorb it and they ask us questions. We have family dinners every night and they ask us, how was your day and how is this certain project going? And
Wow.
so it's been like I said, I have a gazillion, I have so many stories that go through my head. Like it's like I'm having like fireworks in my head right now of
Yeah.
I haven't thought about the just evolution of, I mean, I gave birth to two boys while I had the company, and just that, right? And then like maternity leave, and how does that work? There is no handbook for having a business and having a family.
No, you
There's just,
don't.
yeah, there's no
You
book,
definitely don't.
you know?
It's
Uh,
it's
um,
a juggling act.
it's totally a juggling. Yeah, I would bring Hudson in the stroller and put him in my office and close the door, and hopefully he didn't, make any noise, and make a couple phone calls so that I could, pay the bills.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
just could do, but I also wanted, people have also asked, while we're on this topic, they've also asked, why didn't you get a full-time, au pair, or, why didn't you get, a live-in nanny, or why didn't you get all, but I chose to be a mom, and like I chose to have a business. To me, you make choices and you need to figure out,
Yep.
how to maximize your performance through those choices.
Hmm.
And at least that's how I operate. Is if I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to do it in my perspective, and I don't think there's any right or wrong, or people do what's right for them. But
Yeah.
for me, I made the choice, and I thought, I want to be there. When my kid comes home from school, I want to be there at the play. I want to be there, to see the first and second and third and fourth. And
Hmm.
when I made that choice, I also knew that means sometimes I'm going to have to stay up late at night when they're in bed and finish something to get a deliverable, over to the company. And it is what it is. You make the choices, and, you just know the consequences of your actions, and be accountable for them, and do it the best you can.
Yeah.
So
I love all that. There's so many things I could like touch on from what you said.
please.
I I haven't really ever shared this, but I love talking about business on the podcast. Like it's something that I kind of like to squeeze in there simply because I am an entrepreneur and I love it. I grew up with an entrepreneur father, and my mom was, my dad's biggest cheerleader and supported him, and they did everything as a team. And my dad, through the course of me growing up, had a few different businesses. He had a family business that he sold, and then we had our next venture as a family. And sometimes, like, the bus would have to drop me off, like, at the store, and it was a true family effort, and it was a retail store. And I like can close my eyes and remember some of those years of like people coming to check out, and I'd be like, "What is that all for today?" And I was literally like 7 years old, and
Yeah.
they'd look at like the associate next to me, where I was like, "No, no, no, I know how to check you out. Like, of course I know how to run this machine because it's my parents' place." And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, it's fine," and I would like check them out. And
I love that. That
I
is
mean,
awesome.
it was amazing. I grew up in that environment and watching my parents work hard and learning their work ethic, excuse me. And um, my sister is an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur, and we got that vibe and like buzz because we watched that it is doable as a family. And I mean, fast forward after that business, my dad had another one that he still owns, and I remember late nights where my sister, mom, and I, like, we went and we were doing like grommets because my dad owns a large format printing company. And we were like, we want to go on spring break to, I don't know, Disneyland or wherever we were going. So, like, let's help dad with this last minute big order. And like, we were there till 8, 10 o'clock at night. And those are memories that I love. Those are memories that I cherish. And it felt like this camaraderie of we're doing this together. And then we enjoyed the vacation even more because we did something and accomplished something together and helped out dad as a team. And it was a wonderful experience having my parents be entrepreneurs growing up. And I think that's pretty incredible that you did it without a nanny, I've got to say, or any au pair or help or anything like that.
Well, I had help. I mean, just I had help with, I mean, every EA that we have had, every assistant that we have had has been
Has helped in some way.
angel. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, I view the office. I'm supposed to go, pick up the
Mm-hmm.
kids from school or take them from camp to, something for the kids, and then all of a sudden a celebrity, drops in into like, and they're like, Connie, we need you to be with so and so,
Yep.
or this person that they want to get a sauna, or we need you on this call with what,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I can't. I've got to go over, to get the kids, and I mean, and every single time, and I can think of so many people. I can think of all those different things over the years. There were multiple people that would say, "I will go get your kids. I will go do what do we need to do?"
Yeah.
If it was, there was a person in marketing one year. I remember, and I can just think of so many different assistants, and still today, because today I'm supposed to go get, Aiden, and I wanted a backup just in case, because I want to be focused on you and focused on
Yeah.
this and what I'm doing, so I have a backup, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I have help, so that's not, but I just like a lot of people, when I say nanny or au pair, like it's somebody that's full time, that's taking care
Right.
of the kids, and that was something that we never, we've never done. But I don't think you can. I don't know how people do it if you don't have somebody like your mom, like somebody
Yeah. Someone,
that can
something, some
pitch in, that
backup,
you can,
right?
right, like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I need this, and I've had multiple people over the years. Sunlighten has been so good to me. The people here to
Mm-hmm.
support all the time.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a
And then I
great
was also
thing.
thinking about that idea, like you were asking about balance. And
Yeah,
I want to answer that question for you. I personally believe that the word balance is an illusion
right,
because we don't, we're not going to always have harmony 24/7, right? Like sometimes it did require you to stay up late. That's not balance or harmony. That's I've got to put in the work and do what I need to do, right? Sometimes, like when we were with my dad at late at night before our vacation, like that may not be balance, that may be helping a little bit more, but like it was for the better purpose of something. And I believe that the idea that we build, it's almost like a Disney movie. Like we as little kids watch these movies and there's always happy endings, or there's always this like or rom-com. It's like, ta-da, we've made it. And like, we've made it, we're here, and it's going to stay that way forever. And I think that our brains have been conditioned to really believe that that is possible. And I think that if we can release that idea and that illusion of like true balance forever and ever, 24/7, all the time, truly does exist, and that's what I'm striving for. If we wave that white flag, then we can finally say, life is messy. Life is messy, and life is a human experience, and there's going to be highs and lows, there's going to be ups and downs, and honestly, like waving the white flag allows you to embrace the highs and allows you to embrace the lows and know that maybe it's for a purpose, even, of like what's coming next. Or especially even with business, there are times and there are seasons within a business where you do have to grind. Like, it doesn't come easy. Like, I didn't just poof, build this out of nothing, like you didn't poof like 25 years and like, ta-da, like you didn't rub a genie, like the bottle and it was like, ta-da, you get 3 wishes. Here we go, So I believe that it's this illusion of balance that we have to release and start to accept, because if all we want is good and when we do that, we keep harping on the bad of like, well, I had a bad day again. I had another crappy day, rather than it's like, I had a bad moment. I had a bad moment, but that was also a really awesome moment. And that equals the totality of the journey of life. And releasing that again within your brain is like, you get to have more of a realistic version of what life should look like, rather than right like that Disney facade and like rom-com movie of we trail off into the sunset with like glass slippers on and a carriage, right? Or the prince finds the foot that fits the glass shoe and then they live happily ever after. It doesn't, again, like life is messy, and accepting that and allowing that, I feel, allows you to enjoy your life that much more. But so many have that brain pattern and that belief system of like things can be perfect or things can feel balanced. I'll give you another example. When I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's and I was going through all the different parts and pieces and learning, and I think it's so cool that you went from pharmaceutical world to holistic health world, right? I love that. I was trying to decide and figure out what was best and right for me, what would help me heal, what would put me into remission for hopefully as long as possible, right? And healing, having health could be a full-time job. Having and running my business is a full-time job. Being a parent is, whether you're a solo parent or not, is a full-time job. And you have to find a way to give and take from all of those. You can't have 30% of your day always be the business, 30% of your day always be healing, 30% of your day always be the kids, and then that leftover 10%, that's still not equal, So it's really about knowing that sometimes you have to give and take and be able to be okay with what we did do for the day or the efforts that we did put in, even to our healing, And I would love for you to talk a little bit about, I know we're pivoting a little here, but I would love for you to talk a little bit about from your lens, because you can explain it much better than me, is, I want to, if you're okay with it, break down the difference between what are like the benefits of the infrared. And then we'll go into like, what is the benefits of the heat? Because clearly there's a combination there, but I would love for you as the expert to kind of dive into what the research shows behind infrared.
Yeah. Well, first, let me back up and also thanks so much for giving me your take on balance.
Yeah.
That was really, really important to me because that's something we could talk about the whole show. I'm super, super passionate about the topic and the word and the visualizations
Yes.
and the whole freeing and release. So I really appreciate you taking a moment and sharing your perspective. It was just invaluable and it makes my heart happy. So as far as infrared, let's take a step back of what it is and how is infrared different than a traditional heat source. So first, what is it? And I like to give the visual, or actually it's not even it's a visual for me because that's the way I think, but it's also a feeling to people so they can really kind of understand how they have experienced it. Because people are like, I don't know, I've never experienced it. Yes, you have. So because you've gone outside and the majority of the wavelength that comes from the sun is infrared. And there's been a time, I am sure, that you've gone outside and it's been cloudy and you have this kind of feeling of, like not so great, like, oh. And all of a sudden, in the sky comes this beautiful ray of sunshine and it beats down on you and you just go, oh God, that feels so good. That is infrared. Yeah. And what we have done at Sunlighten is bring that feeling that, oh, it feels so good. And I feel so much better feeling that you have inside your home, inside the comfort of your own home. So that's like, in as simple as I can explain what it is and it's how it feels. What it is it comes from the sun, and there's heat and there's light and there's a spectrum. I just explained the heat source, but let me explain how it literally feels versus traditional. When you're outside, let's call it a really hot day. Let's call it like 100-degree day, where it's
Texas
hot,
day.
A Texas day, yes. And you're like walk outside and you just kind of almost start sweating because it's so hot. Yeah. That's traditional heat, and you're getting hot. You're having that experience because the air is hot and the heat is staying in the air. Infrared, you could have that same temperature and it's not going to be hot because the energy is being transferred to your body directly. You are receiving it. It's being absorbed into your water molecules. It's transforming, which we can talk about separately. It's transforming your molecules very differently depending on which wavelength. It's changing your body differently depending on which wavelength. And then you're getting this myriad of wonderful results because the wavelength is inside your body. So the heat is a different experience. It's not oppressively hot. So that's really important. So it's gentle. It's what our saying is, life is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. Your Sunlighten experience is meant to be enjoyed, not like you're not fighting through like, oh my God, this is so miserable. I
5
can't.
more minutes. Yeah.
Right. Because you want to make it a habit. You want to make it part of your lifestyle to get all the results. And if you're not enjoying it, chances are you're probably not going to do it that often. So that's the heat. The light, which, I'm like so passionate about light energy and helping people understand the importance of light energy, because most people stay inside all day and they're not exposed to light and they don't understand the value of light, or they're misinformed by light.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. Like, our bodies are natural solar panels, right? Like, we are, you are, I am, we are solar panels that we are made to receive light, to activate our mitochondria and our bodies and our cellular functions. Like, we have to have light. And so you get that with the infrared spectrum. So there's far infrared, which is light delivered as heat. There's mid infrared, which is a hotter wavelength. And then there's near infrared, which is, it can be hot, but you couldn't experience it because it's so hot. So you have to take that wavelength and convert it to LEDs and then receive it via invisible light into the body. And we can talk about what that does and everything in a little bit. And then there's also red light, which is visible. So there's 4 different parts. Visible light that's red, very, very similar. It's right next door to near. So, it's incredibly similar. Really, the only difference between the two is the depth of penetration into the skin and the color. And that's they both do the same thing. And near infrared has a little bit more extensive results, is a little more therapeutic because it penetrates a little bit deeper. But that's what's unique about infrared is you get, when you are in an infrared sauna, like Impulse that's behind me, where you're getting far, mid, near, and red, it's not just hot air, right? You're getting 4 different completely, different wavelengths, different transfer of energy to change your cells, to, detoxify, reduce inflammation, help the skin improve, increase blood flow, help deliver a healthier heart, help you lose weight, fat loss, etc., all just while sitting there. So that's the high level of, what is infrared, what are the different wavelengths, and how is it different than the traditional heat?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing all of that. I think it's really important that people kind of understand what goes on in a sauna, right? And then what are the benefits, like you're saying? And you just spit off so many. And I kind of want to explain to you what it's done for me. And I literally, as I was thinking about having this podcast with you, I'm a crier. If you listen to my podcast on a regular basis, I'm a crier. And I told myself, we're not going to cry on this today. But I really could
It's okay.
cry. That's how wonderful this sauna has been to me. I feel different. I don't know my numbers in terms of my Hashimotos. My numbers have always been low. And I'm not on a lot of medication, which I'm so grateful for. And I don't ever want my numbers to get higher, which is why I'm working so hard to either keep them low or get them into remission. But what I will tell you is that I feel like I'm in remission. So I would be really excited to take a blood test and see how they feel, or see what the numbers are, And it has absolutely shifted. That feeling has shifted since I've had this sauna in my home. I knew as soon as I got diagnosed, I knew that this would be part of my regimen. So I would go to a place in the city where I would go at least once, maybe twice a week if I could get there. But the extra time that added, it's really hard because I'm a solo parent. So having this at home, I'm going to say this. I wonder if people think sauna is something I want, but I wonder if I'll use it. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it'll be just something almost like a treadmill. Like, I want a treadmill, but like, will it just end up sitting there? Or like, I want an elliptical. This is something that has not just sat there. This is something, and I'm saying that because this is not that machine. you naturally want to get in this thing. You like you're saying that feel good, your body literally craves it and your body feels so good. I have there's so many things I've loved about it. Like I love when it was freezing outside and like I've gotten in and then I'll go outside almost like a cold plunge, which I don't know if I can get a cold plunge. I don't know if I'm a wimp. I've done it before in the past, but it's just so hard. But like it feels so good when you step out and it feels so good when you're in there. It is not uncomfortable. Like you're saying, it's not something that you're like, okay, 5 more minutes. Like I should be in here 5 more minutes. It is so subtle, like you're saying, like it's everything you're saying. It's such a beautiful experience. And not only has it helped my skin, it has definitely helped my mood. It has definitely helped my energy level. But it's for me, and I will try not to get emotional, but for me, I'm a solo parent. I don't get much self care unless I carve it out for me, unless I find a sitter and I go do it for me. And this is something that has brought me my own self care where I can put the kids to bed and they know where I am. Like literally last night, Eli was having a hard time sleeping and he walks out there in his blanket and he's like talking to me through the glass. And he was like, I can't fall asleep. I'm having a nightmare. And I was like, I will come check on you in 15 minutes. But he knows not to open the doors. But like, I get a little slice of heaven in my own home. And I can't always have a spa. I can't always go have a spa day or things like that. But this is my oasis. Like, this is my slice of heaven. And it has brought me so much joy. And I haven't even had it that long. I've maybe had it 3 or 4 weeks. And
Oh, wow. That's exciting.
I know. And I feel the benefits already. Like, it has been it has been amazing. And there's so many people that when I post about it DM me and they're like, oh my gosh, I really want one. And I'm saying that this is not a thing that will just sit, because it really does, like, you want to go get in it. Like you want, like, you crave it. Like I literally crave it every single day. Every single day I'm like, what time am I going to get in it? Whether it's, you know, when my nanny picks up the kids and it's right after, it's been a beautiful transition for me, whether it's like right after working to kind of transition from work and to have like a something for me to then step into parenting, or whether it's something in the evenings where even my partner and he and I will get in it and we have beautiful talks in it and just enjoy being together. And the kids have even stepped in to be like, "Ooh, I want to try this out," you know? It's just been, I mean, I'm like ranting and raving, but like I literally cannot say enough things about it. And I'm not someone who was a frequent sauna user up until honestly my Hashimoto's diagnosis. Like I didn't really know the benefits. It wasn't something that I used in my everyday life. Or if I would go to, let's say, a spa for the day, like the one time I went in like a steam room when I was so sick, and like it was the night before Jonathan proposed to me. Like I was so incredibly sick and he was like, well, go in a sauna and like let it all drain. And I went in a steam room. Like I literally didn't even know the difference. And now it is such a huge part of my life. And I can't say enough incredible, incredible things about it. And hopefully you hear, and I'm sure you hear that over and over and over again.
Yeah, we like Leanne Rimes has a quote that I'm going to take from her. She has two things that she says that I love it. Just to echo what you said, is one is it's the place where she may have had like a wreck of a day, and she struggles openly, just with dealing with that. And
Mm-hmm.
she says, I can really think like the world is ending, and I go in and all of a sudden, like everything is lifted,
Yep.
and I know I have the confidence to be able to handle it. And then just the second thing she says is just like, it's happiness in a box.
It really
Which
is.
is it's really true. And I remember when I started this, forever and ever ago, I would hear these things come out of my mouth, and I would always say to people, I said, like, I know this sounds too good to be true.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've been saying this for 27 years. I know it does. So that's why I've committed to the science, because sometimes people need to understand the validation of, this is not just some placebo thing that, we're talking about. I mean, scientifically, it really does change the body. But as a parent, like, I love what you said, because I mean, I think of the evolution of my children, like, as they've grown up in the different stages, and, every stage is my favorite stage, but every stage is harder and harder, and how I've dealt with a lot of those challenges is, through getting in, my sauna and finding the mental clarity, which is one of the gifts that it gives you, is
Absolutely.
getting rid of the brain fog and getting rid of just the mind chatter and the mind craziness. I mean, it literally helps to increase, the oxygen to your brain. So you get brain, mental clarity. The energy level, which is what I find as a parent still to this day, that's one of, besides, having teenagers, which is another chapter, but having just the energy to be able to be the best mom and to thrive, in your own words. And it gives you that, it gives you the sanctuary feel, the self-care. God, I'm such a passion for, like, I just could speak about self-care forever, because people, especially us as moms, we just, it's always another day, or we'll do this, or,
Putting everyone else first.
right. It's no, I need to do this so that
Yes.
I can do everything else.
So I can
And
show up for them.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And my latest thing, I don't know, I started whatever that year that was, post COVID, maybe 2 years ago ish, when things came back, and I feel like they came back more robust than 2019. It was just kind of hustling. I'm like, whoa, 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 so everything was getting, shortened. And I decided, I made an intentional decision. You think, you know what? I'm going to give myself permission to get in there for, even if it's 10 minutes. And it's okay. I'm not a failure, if I cannot do the full 45 minutes. Because what was happening is I was not going in at all, because I couldn't do the whole program, because we have 6 preset programs, or I thought, God, I really want the 30 minutes, or I really want this. And then I wasn't doing it. And then the next day would come, and and what I found is, by even just saying to myself, normally I like to do like a 5K run, I could do, and then sauna. So that's a commitment, right? And I thought, you know what? I'll just do 1 mile run, get in my sauna for just 10 minutes. And then once I get inside my sauna, the mental clarity and the getting to that parasympathetic stage, helping the body reduce stress, my shoulders come down, my neck is starting to move, my body,
incredible.
right? My body is like, oh, wow, I've got this. Like, I get this confidence, I've got it. And guess what? I end up staying in there longer, because I figure out, I'm like, okay, here's my day. Here's where I could move, different things. And this is so wonderful. And I am becoming such a better human being because of this experience, that I would be like sacrificing so many relationships, so many other things, by not taking that extra 10, 15 minutes for myself, because I'm going to be a better representative to Sunlighten. I'm going to be a better representative to the community. I'm going to be a better representative to my women's network, whatever, my mentoring, like whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be better at all of those things if I take care of myself. So yeah, it's not that when you were saying that piece of equipment, I know exactly, as we have it downstairs, and we have other pieces of equipment there. And when you were saying that, I was like thinking of going around my eyeball in the room of, what do I use the most in that room? And I mean, for sure, it's my sauna, because of the way I feel when I'm in there. And I can habit stack. I can, as a mom, we're all doing multiple things, and I can do, my hot water with lemon. I can do meditation. I can do deep breathing. I can do my stretching. I can do my journaling. I can do other things while I'm in there, so I'm not so, stressed. When I'm running, I mean, with the exception of thinking I can conquer the world and figuring out a plan to do that, like I can't actually, just mentally I'm creating wonderful things, but I can't physically do something else while I run, But when you sauna, you can do all sorts of different things. So
Mm-hmm.
it really is a gift to yourself. It's, one
Yes,
of the
it
best things
is.
you can do for yourself is do things to start the healing process. And even if if you don't have different types of conditions, everybody can enjoy more energy,
Yes.
relaxation, mental clarity, and
Yep.
like you said, that space where you can build a community, where you can enjoy other people inside with you. I mean, I love, when my kids, they're now old enough where they will come in. Oh my God, it's such a blessing. It's such a gift.
Yep.
They'll come in, or Aaron will come in, or sometimes, my dog will sit outside and just look at me, and I'm just like, "Oh, you want in too, don't you, Bella?" So it's a wonderful place and experience, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
happy that it's really helping you in only 3 to 4 weeks. That makes me like you're gonna love this journey because it's only going to get better and better and better.
Mm-hmm.
And the craving aspect, I do believe the craving comes because that's 100% fact. Like your body starts to crave it. I believe it's similar to what happens in your body for exercise, kind of that, not like that first time, it's, maybe hard, but when you start to do cardiovascular conditioning and you start to get that improved blood flow, that improved oxygenation, your muscles start to move and you start to get, increase your heart rate and you start to feel more alive,
Mm-hmm.
then you're like, oh gosh, I want to do that again
Mm-hmm.
because and you start to crave, like I felt so much better when I did that. My body's like saying, yeah, do it again. And that's the same feeling that with the sauna. It's like I can't wait to do that so that I can have that wonderful release of hormones and that just that wonderful kind of like runner's high, but inside your sauna, without moving
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, when you said decreasing the brain fog, I have really noticed in the last week or two certain areas I'm like, whoa, like that I've been trying to get back for months. Like I'm not kidding. Like there's certain parts where really at the peak when we found out that I had this, I was like, this brain fog is so bad. I would literally be looking at a cabinet and I couldn't say the word cabinet. Like I'd be looking at an employee and I was like, what is your name? Like I couldn't believe it. And my brain fog it's gone. Like it almost like again brought me to tears as you were saying that. Like it is absolutely gone, and I can't wait to see more and more benefits of this. The other thing I love is that I talked a lot to my clients about, like I said, that transition from like work to family life, right? And I prefer it to be like a walk or something where we're putting our phone down and not in front of a screen. It's a way for us to transition our brain from that heightened state where we have to be stepping on that gas and going and in that mode of business, as opposed to being connected and emotional brain with our children and with our family life. And your phone can't go in the sauna, it's too hot in there, right? So like this is a way to pause, this is a way to transition, and like you're saying, really take an over functioning brain within the workday and really settle in for the evening and really be able, and you can do it again at any time, whether it's right after work or right before bed or when it works for you. But it's been a huge regulation tool for me, not just to support my detoxification experience and helping with my Hashimoto's, but it's really, I mean, like you're saying with Leanne Rhymes, like all could be wrong with the world. And I literally have thought to myself, you're not in a great mood right now, but like you're going to go get in the sauna and like you'll be so happy after and like you'll be in a better mood. So like you just need that time. And it's like, okay, Brooke, and I am like all is right with the world when I'm done in there. And so I cannot thank you enough for sharing your experience, and I cannot thank you enough for sharing the science behind it and telling everyone about it, and as well as telling your personal story of like what it's been like to be an entrepreneur while being a busy mom of two boys. And gosh, it's really admirable to have a 25-year-old business. Like that is
Crazy.
unbelievable. And there's highs and lows and all the things that come with that. And you guys have forged ahead and continued that path for that many years. And it's so admirable and it's so incredible. And I'm glad you guys are around because you've made my life so much better. So thank you so, so much for sharing all of your personal story and the sauna side of life. And tell everyone where they can find you and find all of your products.
Yeah, so go to sunlighten.com, sunlaghten.com. We called it Sunlighten because we bring the sun inside and we would enlighten the body and the mind. So, and we will, anybody who is listening, we are giving a discount. It's up to $600 off. Wow. The most important thing you need to remember is you need to mention it. So don't be shy, be proactive, mention Dr. Brooke, and that will give you access and unlock a code that will give you the discount. And you could also call us 877-292-0020. You can call us directly. You can go to the website. You can follow us on social. But most importantly, like let's chat and come. And we have lots of different options too. We didn't talk about all those, but you don't have to get Impulse, which is all 4 wavelengths. There are other options. There's supportable units. We have everything, to meet everybody's budget. So just let us know what works best for you and what you're trying to accomplish. And we have, just a ton of experts that are super passionate about helping people and transforming them and really adding value to their life so they can do more of what they love to do.
Well, thank you for that. My audience will really be excited. And there are so many people that, like I said, reach out to me. And so I will make sure to say that there's a special little something at the end of our podcast. So they listen to this and then they'll get that special little pipe-in code and a slight discount. And it's worth it. It is so, I've just been like drooling here, but it's just so worth it. And I have loved chatting with you today, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. And thank you for everything you do. You bring healing to a lot of people. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And until next time, XOXO, Dr. B.